Hi, Isaac. Welcome to the Leanpub launch video for Northwind Elixir Traders, a practical tutorial on databases with Ecto. I was wondering if you could start this video by talking a little bit about who you are, what your book is about, and who it's for.
Hi, Len. Very pleased to have this video made because I'm a big fan of Leanpub, as I told you earlier. I've been using it for the past year, actually, heavily. And this is, I think it's probably the sixth book I'm publishing, even though it's the first one that I published before it even being ready, which I guess is the first time I'm using Leanpub as it was intended. I tend to be a perfectionist. The reason is also because I'm a mechanical engineer by training, even though I've done a lot of R&D, a lot of product development, and this carries over into the way that I write. Of course, this being my first technical book, this is where I go back to my roots, because I used to develop turbines and complex mechanical engineering components in a great company where technical documentation was seen as a huge asset. And so I've written a lot of technical things, and especially to document processes, to document the way of thinking, so that whoever picks it up in the future doesn't only get the great result, but gets also the mindset of what led to a great product, great component, a certain type of solution. Now, Northwind Elixir Traders is for me something between a personal passion project and something that I find could be useful for others. The idea was, after diving into Elixir for the past 1.5 years, which is a language that absolutely fascinates me, to tie everything together that I know about Ecto and dealing with databases. And it all started because I realized while I was developing apps with Phoenix LiveView that, yes, I understand some things, but I don't really know a lot about Ecto. I tend to copy and paste the same things that work. And my experience is that whenever I do this a lot, I always am left with a worry that I might not actually understand what is happening and what would not work. And so I would say that Northwind Elixir Traders is an attempt to bridge the gap between amazing books that already exist, like Programming Ecto and other tutorials online, and the way that a trained engineer thinks. So I want to help people also get over what I had, which is a type of imposter syndrome, where I was afraid of doing something wrong. So the idea is, yeah, let's do things the wrong way. Let's go off the beaten path. Let's use SQLite 3 instead of Postgres. Let's explore what we can do with this. And if it doesn't work, we'll also figure out why and what works. And I would say this is the book. This is the mindset of the book.
Yeah, no, that's really great explanation. A lot of Leanpub books are, sort of one category is people who are like, I wish I'd known this when I was starting out, kind of thing. But another kind, and they're the same, is like, but you put it very well, is like documenting a process so someone can sort of learn what they need to know, but also carrying over the mindset of what it meant to successfully do it, is a really, really subtle point about a successful book in this area. It's interesting. So is this book for engineers?
No, this book is for anyone who's curious to learn more about. Okay. I mean, the title is a bit of an inside joke. Northwind Traders, the old database of MS Access, plus Elixir in there. There's also some jokes thrown in there in the book about this. But it's about anyone who knows some Elixir, knows a bit of databases, but doesn't know about Ecto and what you can do with Ecto.
And so what is Ecto, for example, if you were sitting at the pub and someone was like, what do you do? What's Ecto?
So Ecto is what allows you through Elixir to access and work with databases. This is what it's mostly used for. This is the primary use case, but it also allows you to deal with data structure. So also that's something that's explored in the book. For example, if you take input from a form and it's first name, last name, whatever, and you want to validate that, I don't know, the name starts with a capital letter, or that the phone number has a certain format with regex and so on, Ecto gives you the tools to do that with so-called changesets. And if you do want to persist it, then Ecto provides the interface to the database, has adapters for different databases like Postgres, like SQLite, which we use in the book. And so Ecto is what... even though Elixir is a functional programming language, the easiest way to explain it for somebody coming from Python is that it's like an ORM. It's your warehouse manager, very simplified. It's what you use to interface with a database.
Okay. And you mentioned this, so you've got 5 other books up on Leanpub, and you're a perfectionist, but this is the first one that you're doing that's publishing in progress, which is great. I can see that the perfectionist in you by the fact that you set the book to currently to 18% complete,
Oh,
not
yes.
not 17 or 19. And that's just so great to see. We love to see that, and we love it when authors sort of, a lot of people, it takes one or two books before they're like okay to publish it in progress. But one question I love to ask people about authors when they do this is, do you have a plan? You're going to do 1% a day. Is it going to, or is it going to be 2% a month?
Yeah, depends. Okay. So for the fiction books that I wrote before, there's one business book, and there are 3 or 4. It depends on how you count. It's one of them is unpublished. They are fiction books which are satirical or explore different things. So there, I felt that if I released it before, so a fiction book, if you release it before and you need to go back and retroactively edit the story, it messes it up for the reader. There, what I did was I started with a big book, which I then split in four volumes, let's say. And so I released every volume as it was being completed. And this, especially the third one, and this allowed me to be incremental, but only after I knew that, okay, this part of the story will not change. So we're not going to introduce a new character retroactively and mess things up for those who already read it. Because there, I didn't have everything already from the start. The scope, also it's in the preface of those books, especially the one called Lo and Behold X. It grew through interaction with friends, through asking them what they think. Now, for a technical book, the scope is easier to manage. So the way I started is I noted down what I lack, what I miss in my own knowledge. So I made a bit of a list of things that I would like to explore. So if someone were to give me this book that I'm writing, what would I want the book to teach me? And then I work backwards. Also, I think always about what I want to achieve in the end. I do want to have, for example, the Northwind Traders database fully implemented in Elixir using Ecto, plus have some enhancements that take it beyond what was done, of course, without the graphical user interface. And then I break it down into chapters. Now, the 80% is a bit of a facetious thing because is it 18, is it 17? It doesn't matter. It's that I started with a gut feeling that the first release was at 15%. Is it now based on the number of pages, the total scope, the whatever? It's like a gut feeling that I think I'm not even 1/5 of the book through. And it's also the fact that because I have lots of code in there, you cannot really count by the number of pages. So maybe the 15% was at, I think, 70 pages, and the 100% is at who knows how many. So it's more of I would say the way I treat this 18% or 50% is like a semantic versioning. It's version 0.18 in a way, kind of.
That's so fascinating. Thank you for sharing that, and especially for any Leanpub authors or aspiring Leanpub authors who watch this, seeing someone who sort of like tackled the in progress thing from both the fiction and the nonfiction sides is really interesting. I mean, the origins of the idea are in serial fiction publishing from Dickens and stuff like that, and Dostoevsky. And to see, I mean, sort of it's version 0.18. We had one author with one of our best-selling books of all time named Simon Brown, who had his book at 99%. And he thought that was a positive thing, where people thought like he meant to keep it permanently at 99%, meaning like I'm always going to be adding to it. And then people would get mad. They'd be like, you haven't finished. I bought it 2 years ago and you haven't finished it. And he's like, that's not what I meant. Or we have another book that's like a 380-page awesome book that the author just put at 80% as a kind of joke. And people are like, why are you selling this 80% finished book after 5 years? And it's like 380 pages. Like, that's a great book. But anyway, it's just so interesting to hear that. It's a really great book. It's really, really good, as you say, for everybody. It's not just for sort of programmers and engineers and things like that. And it's called Northwind Elixir Traders, a practical tutorial on databases with Ecto. Isaak, thank you very much for taking some time out of your evening, your Friday evening in Athens to talk to me and talk to all of us. And thank you very much for using Leanpub as a platform for your books.
Thank you for making the platform. It's really cool to see.
Thanks.